In this video, we will discuss two clients of the OGC Testbed 18 project. The first one is business client, and the second one is the developer client. The developer client is the middle client where more advanced user will write down query, SQL queries and save them in a database provided by the filtering service. And the business client is the end user of the queries that can access the complex queries the developer client has saved and execute the queries by providing the parameters that were required. So the way we have implemented the business and developer clients for Testbed 18 in Concepts Beyond is as being depicted here in this architecture diagram. The web server in the middle, that is the bridge between the filtering service and the two clients. The web service provides HTTP communication between each client page and the filtering service. The API calls are being made in the web service. So we'll start with the business client. In Testbed 18, we have two business clients for two separate data sets, the NODAM business client and the airport business client. So let's look at the airport business client. Once the business client logs in and accesses the client, they'll be presented with this table of the available queries that the developer client has already put in place. So each one of these queries is a complex SQL language query that the developer client has saved in, and now they are accessible by the business client. The table lists the query ID, the full title of the query, a description of what this query is providing, and potentially hints about the parameters that are needed, and then a table of exactly what parameters are needed for each query and what type they are, so that the client will have an idea what information they have to provide to be able to run this query. For example, on the first query, there are no parameters needed, so the client can directly run this query without providing any parameters. So by clicking the Run button, the client can run the query. So the second window allows the client to provide the parameters. In this case, because we don't have any parameters, by clicking the Run button, we can run the queries. Now this query is depicting the aprons, runways, and taxiways at each airport. And in this case, this is for all airports within a certain range. So for example, looking at Newark Airport, we can see the runways and aprons being highlighted. Same for JFK and for other airports in the area. So the result of the query are being displayed on a map as well as in a tabular form. Now, if you want to run a parameterized query, for example, this one, which is still showing the aprons, runway, taxiways, but you have to select the airport and the type of the surface you're looking at. So we're going to look at normal surfaces at JFK. You could also pick these ones. These are all pre-populated or provided by the query that the developer client has put in. And here in this interface, we can the interface provides them to the business client. So pressing the Run button, now it's just limited to the JFK, and the tabular form of the data is also provided. We could also run, let's run a different one with, let's say this one, which is pretty much the same one, a copy of that one, which I created to demonstrate another functionality. But now let's just look at the intersections at, say, Newark. So now zoom in at Newark. These are the runway intersections, or one runway here and two runways here, and this is highlighting the intersections here. Now let's switch to the developer client. Now the developer client will also be able to access all the available SWIM data sources. Let's go back to the airports. So first we'll see a the similar table of the available queries or previous queries that they have already saved. And for each query, the developer client now has the ability to not only run the query the same way that the business client can do, but they can also edit the query or delete the query. Let's look at how to edit a query. Let's say we want to edit this query. So we click on edit, and then down here in these two text boxes, you will see the name of the query will appear here, and the description or the actual JSON query will be available here. Let's say we want to change the description or the title. Let's say apron, and let's put delete the comma and put and here. And we could test the query and then save it. So we're going to test the query. It runs the same way because we didn't change anything in the queries. In the developer side, we will see the raw result of the query. So we know this runs, so now we can save it. So we're going to save it. Now it's saved correctly. So now we're going to go back here, and now we can see that this is now says apron and runway instead of comma runway. If you want to delete a query, let's say we want to delete this one. This is pretty much a copy of this one, different name. Click on delete and just make sure that you want to delete, and then say delete. And now that one is gone. So now in order to develop a query or write down a query, a complex query, for each data set we have, we can access the queryable. So for example, for airports, these are the queryable. So this, by accessing these, the developer is able to use these in writing the JSON query. What queryables I can query, we can access them here. And what sortables we have, they're also available here. So how do I sort the results? And also you can get all the conformances, basically all the operations that can happen between the data sets here. They're all can be accessed here. Once the query has been added, for example, we've added surface area 2 here. Now the business client, they will see the same thing here and they can run it.